Hello everyone, my name is Alba and welcome back to the Lovecraftian Video Game Retrospective and welcome to Eldritch, a 3D first-person roguelike dungeon crawler with simple graphics. I don't want to call them Minecraft graphics because they aren't really Minecraft graphics and Minecraft graphics get thrown around a lot, so I don't want to overdo it. This game is, as I mentioned, a roguelike dungeon crawler. It doesn't really have all that much of a great story, even though it does have a goal you can complete, so it's not just endless. And gameplay wise, you pretty much do what you expect. You go through the dungeon, you pick up items, you learn spells because it's a Lovecraft game, you do defeat enemies, you avoid traps, and you make progress. Graphics wise, this game is, as you will see, pretty simple, but it does work. It does run very smoothly. And the aesthetics are quite nice, so despite looking simple, it doesn't look bad by any means. And the level design is partially randomized, which is really nice and does increase the replay value. And it's also quite well done. The levels are actually three-dimensional. Well, obviously the 3D game, but what I mean is that you don't just have one floor where you can go into every direction, you can also go up and down, which is a nice feature and not something that every dungeon crawler has, especially not every older dungeon crawler. So this game is a lot of fun to play. It is for a while. So what you do is you usually make way through the dungeon. You can punch enemies, but getting a melee weapon is better. You can make do with a stone, but a revolver is better. But the revolver has limited ammo, obviously, and you can also get a dagger, but the dagger has limited range. So you have to find your ammunition, or you have to be careful, and you have to find springs to expand your health. And you have to find runes to cast magic. And while that is fun for a while, I played this game for about 2 or 3 hours. I went through the different levels and that's a feeling there isn't really all that much to go back through. So while I was playing it, it was very addictive. And it did keep me going because I want to see what else this game has to offer. But the thing is that you don't really progress. So you do have a treasure chest where you can store items and you can access these items for every other treasure chest in the game, which is nice, but you don't really level up. You can find items such as keys, which do allow you to open doors, and you can expand your health with springs. And you do find bullets for your revolver, obviously, but your character doesn't really progress, and there isn't really all that many characters to choose from. You can choose different looking characters, but it doesn't really make all that much of a difference, especially considering that this is a first-person game, so seeing yourself for the most part isn't really all that relevant. And that's a feeling there's little to go back to. Of course, you can play the game again with the levels being randomized, but there won't be anything new. There won't be any new items. It will still be the same daggers, same revolvers. You can find a couple of other items, but you can only hold so many items except for the collectible ones like runes, artifacts, keys, and bullets. So for the most part, I just got stuck with the dagger and the revolver and occasionally the stone because I found those to be the ones that are most useful and you can't upgrade them in any way. They don't get replaced by any other weapons. So I picked them up and after a couple of minutes I basically had all the equipment I wanted for the rest of the game. And regarding the Lovecraftian elements, this game does take a lot of elements from Lovecraft, such as Monsters of Madness or enemies like fish people and tentacled monsters, and also statues of Cthulhu gods that give you access to spells, but for the most part these are superficial. At least it sounds very negative, but they are superficial in the sense that there's no madness mechanic. The enemies aren't really scary. Occasionally they do surprise you from behind, but they could be anything. They could basically just be orcs. You could just reskin them and turn them into cyborgs, robots, and drones, and this would be a science fiction game, and you could reskin them into orcs, slimes, and skeletons, and this would be a traditional fantasy game instead of a Lovecraftian horror game. So would I recommend this game? I would, but in my opinion it's not going to be fun forever despite the randomized elements. And the Lovecraftian elements are really implemented in a visual way and in a certain style, but there's no underlying mechanics. Not like Eversion where you actually have a mechanic that is in tune with Lovecraftian elements. So yeah, but if you like these roguelike games or if you like dungeon crawlers and you like Lovecraft too, check it out nevertheless. Thanks for watching and I shall see you next time.